Hello everybody, how you guys doing today? Welcome in. Myderall being the white, JD Hetzer, Sir Storming Fish. Welcome. We're gonna go ahead and jump in and get started. I have print cam up, so got a 3D print going. We're gonna try to have that print a success. The print is actually some Raven Guard shoulder pads to go on some Raven Guard breachers, so that should be good. What's up, guys? Finishing up the Kondish Horseman. Okay, for real this time? Yeah, definitely. Yesterday was just a prank. Yeah. All right, here's the deal. We are painting a white scar today. I have never painted a white scar. In fact, I can think of maybe one time where I've painted white power armor as a whole. Maybe an apothecary. I've painted an apothecary sometime. A for real 40k apothecary. But we are painting white armor. I primed this guy in Vallejo Gray surface primer. And now I just need to figure out what else I'm going to do. So I think my process here is I'm not going to use contrast. I could use just a wash over this gray. I think I'm going to base coat it first, though. We're going to put a very thin coat of I think just bright neutral gray, and then I think we put a very thin wash over everything. And I know we have red trim. There's some gold details, some red details, a little bit of silver, some dark gray, those kinds of things. I picked out some guide minis on. Sorry, I got my Thousand Sun sitting on the desk also. Got some guide minis sitting on the desktop here. Okay, a little bit of gray. We'll get a little bit of flow improver out. Not too much flow improver, but we want a nice thin coat of this paint. Hey, aka Former, how you doing? Get this thin coat of this paint. That is the question, and I believe we can. Okay, so we're just gonna go through, grab some thin coats, and just kind of over most of this mini. This mini is represented by Misfit 23. This is we'll bear his name on the display shelf when it's done. I was looking at my shelf, I was checking it out for the first time, and I think it's good. I about have some other minis finished. The first 3 I've painted. They're all in like various stages of complete, so I just need to finish a few things with those. I put some varnish on some minis. I need to fix the poor Dark Angels transfer. That old transfer just completely messed up, which is pretty bad. Like to do some painting. You're in Greece on holiday with your wife. Oh, that's so terrible. How dare she? I think you're just like humble bragging is what you're doing, Former. I'm gonna be in Greece with my wife also. Yeah. See what you're doing. Well, you enjoy the vacation or holiday. Sorry, European sensibilities here. Airbrush recently, I gotta say, it made slapping together work so much quicker. Yeah. Airbrush is very convenient once you get the hang of it. It takes a bit of learning, but once you figure it out, it's fantastic. Normal human paint resin. There's new Mark IV. Yeah, Peter, the shoulder trim is very thin. Yep. No idea what the difference between holiday and vacation. Are you saying holiday or holy day? They're the same. They mean the same thing. holiday and vacation are the same thing. It's just I think the everybody else says holiday and the US says vacation. Vacation does sound better, yeah. Holiday makes me think of like specific days of the year that are used to celebrate different occasions. Others called bank holidays. Okay. That's crazy that white scars have black boulder casing. For sure. You guys can have black boulder casing, that's okay. I love these Mark IV minis. These minis are such a blast to paint. These will be silver. Gotta go, she's no. Alright, good luck. Have fun holiday, Gay Former. Institute is full of people offering painting classes who really shouldn't be teaching. Yeah, that's why I don't teach. Yeah. Get off work early today? Nice, Bean. Congrats. Holidays are the days on the calendar. Vacation could be any time. Yep. That's what I'm saying. Vacation seems more appropriate. I have some fun ideas with this mini. So once we get some of these colors, one of the key things I've found is making sure I'm not putting too many layers of paint. Something about this, the bright colors, the almost whites and the whites from Pro Acryl, when you have too many coats, it tends to start cracking, and I don't want my paint to start cracking. So we don't need none of that. So we're gonna put thin, even coats. Yes, yeah, rest in peace, Peter Cullen. Yeah, Peter Cullen. Yoshi Studios, welcome in. How you doing, man? Work like 4.5 hours a day. Ooh. Yeah, Peter Cullen passed away. He was 85 years old. Is that 3 days in a row? Four total. Breaks that comes in 3. I saw the like Bosnian genocide dude, right? Passed away. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, it could be a lot. I mean, yeah, that's true. That's true. Beloved celebrities is what we'll say comes in 3s. Maybe the Bosnian guy starts a trend of its own. We can have some more good news for a change. Yeah, Hayden Panettiere. That was a few weeks ago, though, wasn't it? We're going to give this the opportunity to dry. Didn't the Bosnian guy was still alive? Oh, yeah. You know what they say. Long delays hobbies. Yeah. It's Something about the only the good die young. Yeah, let's see. What am I going to do? Do I do a classic wash and then build up? Maybe. What color though? I think a contrast paint would be appropriate. We thin it down enough. Really thin rattling grime might be good. Yeah, thin rattling grime might be the color to go with. But we'll thin it differently than we did with the Iron Warrior. I think the contrast medium messed up the properties on this color. So try this. Let's try it. I am still incredibly hyped for Total War 40K. There is so much info about that game that came out yesterday. It's crazy. It looks so good. Let's see. How thin did this get? This was 6 drops. Medium, no, we need more. That would have been good on the Iron Warrior. Yeah, contrast medium just doesn't thin paints how I want it to. How do you paint fluorescent? It's difficult, yeah. White and then putting a layer or 2 on fluorescent. That might be the way to go. It also might just have to do with like your highlights and stuff and how you highlight things. I don't paint a lot of fluorescence, so I might not be the person to ask about this. I don't know. Anybody in here paints a lot of fluorescence? Where's Heresy for Heretics when you need them? That is a dude to check out. I don't know if he, yeah, I think that might be what we're looking for. Heresy for Heretics might be the guy you want to check out on YouTube. I don't know if he does specifically, like paint guides and stuff, but he does have really cool painting style. What's up, Ginger 8 Ball? How you doing? Look. Yeah. I gotta wait a few more minutes. White's not completely dry, but I think this will do the trick as far as a wash goes. Use pink. Makes the yellow more vibrant. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I understand the pink and yellow relation. I've never messed with that with fluorescence though. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Imperial Fists. Yeah. I may do that when I get to the Imperial Fist for this Project Legion. I may. That might be the one Legion I airbrush. Oh yeah, so you know your yellows and pinks then. If you're anything good about 11th edition, yes and no. I think people that were really into 10th edition like 11th edition. I didn't care for 10th edition, and 11th edition hasn't phased me. Like I haven't paid attention to it. It just seems like kind of more of the same. Yeah, wait till 12. I just play Heresy. That's what I do. That gives me my 40k fix. Yellow's the only color that scares you? Yeah. An airbrush helps, and the right undercoats help, but orange is frustrating too. Orange is a frustrating color to paint. It's a good wash here. Your closet Green Lantern? Yeah, your closet Green Lantern. Welcome in, Wheats Streams. How you doing? Not a lot of people I haven't seen in a while jumping in. What's going on, guys? We are doing something called Project Legion, where you guys chat are picking legions to represent and sponsor, and I am painting a tactical marine for each of those legions. So currently, as far as Space Marine legions are concerned, we have 15 of 18 with representation. So I think the 3 without representation still are Sons of Horus, Word Bearers, and Iron Hands. And all I'm asking for is a $5 donation, and what happens is I'm going to paint one of these tactical marines, and your name's going to go on the base, and it's going to go up on a display shelf. I'm going to have one of each from the Legion on the display shelf. And it'll be forever you. They're representing that Legion. Can't sponsor on YouTube. You can. I'm just asking for a $5 donation. That's all I'm asking for. Long Delayed Hobbies. If you can get on Twitch, there's a donation link, but I don't know if the command !donate might work on YouTube. Can you have a $5 donation? Maybe, if someone wants to give one to you. Can't guarantee anything though. But yeah, the $5 just covers the cost of the mini, basically. You know, 18 Legionnaires, box set's about $90. Comes out to $18 per or $5 per for the 18. It'll work. If not, I'll get you a link here in a few minutes. Long delays, hobbies. I don't know. YouTube has weird rules, though. Maybe they'll karate chop me or something. But yeah. So we're doing that, and then there's kind of a second part to it, and this is like a long-term project. I'm not like in a rush to do all this, but the second part is if you want to sponsor an entire squad, you can do so. And I have specific information on the amount of a donation to get what from a squad, but yeah, and I'll paint a whole squad. We have one person that's chosen a squad at this point. I'm going to paint some Raven Guard Breachers. Something unique. Let's see. Let's do this. Let's do this. Okay. This is the donation link. It lets me share it on both. Yeah. Sponsor the second Legion. Not yet, you won't. So yeah, that's the whole thing. And the goal with sponsor myself, my poor financial decisions. Yeah. Don't be financially irresponsible with this. You got things to do, things to pay for. By all means, do that. But kind of the part 2 with the sponsoring of squads is a long-term hope that if multiple people want to donate for a specific Legion, I'll collect and I'll paint the minis for that Legion, right? And then what can happen is once I get a couple squads, I can start working them into armies to field in the live streams, the gaming streams. Okay, that wash worked out really well. I'm happy with that wash. So I could play games with said Legions. If more people, want to sponsor Raven Guard squads, I could end up with a small Raven Guard force. And I got a Zone Mortalis board I'm working on, and we can do Zone Mortalis games, and we can continue on and, do stuff. And it'll be a community-sponsored, Raven Guard army with, each sponsor is, in command of their squad and all of that. So, just a fun thing. And then we can talk about batch painting armies and legions. I have painted 3 legionnaires as part of this project so far. I did the first, third, and fourth legions so far, which is Dark Angels, Emperor's Children, and Iron Hands. And I gotta say, I think the Iron Hands mini was the most fun so far. But maybe that's just me getting my stride and trying things or something, but I have to fix the Dark Angel's transfer, which is unfortunate. His transfer's all wonky. It's an old Dark Angel's transfer I put on his shoulder, but I have to fix that, and then I have to finish the base on the Emperor's Children mini. Otherwise, just some varnish and stuff on some of the various minis. Okay. So, Diluted Rattling Grime, it's like a 10-to-1 ratio of Flow Improver to Rattling Grime. Worked out really well. Yeah, I think that worked really well. And we can get a nice vibrant white on there. Batch painting is a skill I need to learn. Yeah, I batch paint so much that like doing something like this is actually difficult for me. Like just sitting here and like watching the wash dry so I can paint something else. It's difficult. I'll paint 10, 20 minis at a time. What I will ask is that if you do donate, please let me know and tell me what Legion you're wanting to sponsor. Like I said, there are 3 left. There's Iron Hands, Word Bearers, and Sons of Horus. The rules from Heresy differ from 40k. Heresy is closer to like old school 40k. Templates and initiative values, weapon skill is a comparative chart, not just a plus number that you need to roll. And then they added in a lot of stuff with 3rd edition, some neat things like vehicles have armor values instead of toughness and wounds. They do have hull points, but they're basically wounds. But vehicles can be damaged and it can hurt them and stuff. But vehicles are very separate units. Like the directions vehicles face matter, where the weapons are placed on the model matter, those kinds of things. Armor piercing is an all or nothing number, so you want a lower number on your AP value on your weapon.
Back and forth,
Hey,
layer after layer after layer.
thank you for the donation. What I didn't catch the message on there. They go by too fast. I can't read them. What Legion do you want? Let me know. One of the things they did, they borrowed some rules from Necromunda. Every model actually has 4 leadership stats on their stat line. And this is probably my favorite part of like the rules update, are the 4 leadership stats. So there's leadership as a stat. There's a stat called cool, there's a stat called willpower, and there's a stat called intelligence. For word bearers. Okay. Alright, long delays hobbies. I'm gonna edit that in right now while we're waiting for wash to dry. Spell your name right. Awesome. All right. 2 more legions, Iron Hands and Sons of Horus. I'm surprised no one took Sons of Horus yet. Sons of Horus are really cool. I'm not surprised by Iron Hands. Iron Hands are lame. They're not too bad. Ferrus Manus is lame. Iron Hands are pretty cool. Paint 1 mini per session. Sit down, get my dude paint till he's done. Paint him more, gotten faster. Take me like an hour per minute. Yeah, that's really good being the way, yeah. Sons of Horus have a seafoam green armor. They're the box art of a lot of the Heresy boxes. I just pop a link here. Let me... Alright, here we go. Here you go. An old community article, Warcom article about the Sons of Horus. But you can scroll down, you can see the colors of their minis. Ferrus Manus' clone is cooler than the original. I've never read about his clone, so you may be right. You don't look at Heresy. Everybody looks at Heresy boxes. Don't give me that. No, there you go. I don't know when that article is from. It was from a few years ago. Yeah, I really like the Horus Heresy rules. It's much more narrative and thematic and less like I'm playing a board game. Yeah, characters get into challenges with each other, and it's like a whole mini game when you have characters fighting each other in like a one-on-one duel. It's like that's a whole thing, and there's a lot of contention about like who's best in duels and who isn't, like who would kill who in a duel. I think for the most part, people agree that it's probably Vulcan might be the strongest. Solar Auxilia are super cool. I have a bunch of Solar Aux minis. I have about 1,500 points of Solar Aux. And, yeah. Great looking minis. Their tanks are super cool. The Malkador Infernus, I think, is one of my favorite minis of all time from GW. And Zen bought it for me for my birthday last year. The Ogryn look cool. Like, their rapier batteries look awesome. Their gun platforms. They got artillery, big tanks. They have awesome rules. Their rules are super thematic and really cool. Isn't Vulcan physically the strongest of the Primarchs, but not necessarily? Yeah. You might be right about that. Yeah. Just in game, Vulcan has some rules that just make him a very good duelist, where he basically won't take damage. So that's kind of his thing. Otherwise, as far as Primarchs go, I think Magnus might be second, kind of a close second to Vulcan, which is nice. Is it loreful? Probably not, because Magnus keeps getting bodied in lore by everybody, but he's a beast. The Chthonian Headhunters. Hold on, let me see. Pull up this article again. Here's Clones of Heresy short called Imperfect. I'll have to look that up. I am currently reading the Siege of Terra series. Oh, the Solar Ox. Yeah, that's a cool color scheme. Yeah. Menacing. The, like, blackened steel with the red. Yeah. Really nice. What do Iron Hands look like? Or whatever the other one. So Iron Hands wear, they're like solid black armor with some metals. Is basically what they are. They have a big white hand for their symbol. Kind of like Saruman. Yeah. Iron Hands are very, like, techie. They're very much about, robotics and, dreadnoughts and tanks, and, it's like a whole Iron Hands thing to, like, they're really connected with the Mechanicum. So, you know, lots of, like, learning how to work with machines and all that kind of stuff. I think they have a unique character called a Forge Father, which is kind of like a general for them. Okay, I think we're gonna start moving on some other colors here. I'm gonna get some silver out. We're just gonna do some steel. Procro. Is the print still going? Print's still going. Yeah, it's a Raven Guard shoulder pads, guys. It was an absolute pleasure assembling the Raven Guard breachers. I have not assembled the actual breacher kit before, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really nice kit. So I kept the shields. So you guys want to see how I'm doing the shields? I'm going to show you guys this because I thought this was really funny. I didn't want to glue the shields on. I wanted to paint them separate. But when you're painting something like a separate piece in sub-assemblies, you need something to hold the minis. But here was my solution. Grab this. So I kept them on the sprue. Okay, and I clipped the sprue because there's 3 connection points each, and I can finish painting this. I can cut the connection point and I can just paint the edges, right? But so I cut the sprue out, but I kept myself a little handle. So I have a handle to hold them while I'm airbrushing and painting the shields. I thought it was great. I thought I was super genius doing that. It's like, yeah, painting dad, you know what's up. So yeah, the shields are cool. They got little screens on the back, and they have, it's like cameras that they look through so they can see. And then they have like a resting spot for their bolter, for the bolter magazine, so it can sit right in their shield, and that's how they aim through their shield and everything. It's really neat. An extra handle on the bottom of the shield's pretty cool too. It's a pretty well thought out design for the shield. So Iron Hands are boring, but at least they're not loathsome as Dark Angels. Yeah, I painted a Dark Angel. The Dark Angel looks cool. Dark Angels they're super basic, but then they're more like esoteric things end up being really interesting.
Back and forth, back and forth, layer after layer.
Hey, Bean the White, Iron Hands. All right, Bean. My man, biting the bullet, huh? Well, let's put him down. I almost typed Iron Hands under Iron Hands. That would be appropriate for Iron Hands, considering their Primarch is called Iron Hands. That's his name. Alright, Bean the White, our Iron Hands representative. We just need a Sons of Horus representative. And then all 18 legions will have been represented. And we'll continue working on. I do have to tell you guys, we're going through the legion numbers here. I'm just going from 1 to 20. The next legion on the docket that we'll be painting Sunday night is Space Wolves. What's the link again? Exclamation point donate, JD Hetzer. It should pop it up. Ah, there it is. Thank you, Being the White. Yep. Who's more evil, Word Bears or Sons of Horus? This silver's really bright. It's either I wash and darken it down or I start with a darker silver. I think I go for the wash to darken it down. I just continue on with this. That's what I'll do. Painting Space Wolves sound rough? Yeah. I have painted one Space Wolf before, and he is a dead Space Wolf hanging out of a destroyed Predator turret under the foot of my Saturnine Dreadnought. That's the Heresy Space Wolf I've painted, so that's the limit of my experience. I tend to hate Space Wolves, so... justifiably so. As a decent human being and a Thousand Suns player. What is evil? Anyway, yes, that's the Word Bears player, yeah. Oh, man. Well, if JD chooses to represent the old Sons of Horus, that will mean... Hey!
Layer after layer after layer.
Hey, he donated $10. You are the most evil. Thank you so much, JD Hetzer. I appreciate it. We'll get your name down just a second. Just a second. It's Bob Ross, dude. I love Bob Ross. I grew up watching Bob Ross and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Alright, let me get JD Hetzer down, and this is complete here. Alright, JD Hetzer. So, part 1 is complete here. At least phase 1 is claimed. If you want to sponsor something now, we're on to full units. So, as of right now, it's open to tactical squads and assault squads. And I have the info for that on the Discord channel, the Project Legion Discord channel. It's a pinned message that talks about how exactly and how much it costs to sponsor a squad. But you can do that if you so choose. I understand. Like I said, it's a long-term project. I don't expect to be inundated with just painting other people's sponsored minis non-stop. That'd be crazy. But it's basically the cost of the box. That's essentially what it costs us to sponsor a unit. But it'd be fun to end up getting like dreadnoughts and stuff. And eventually, and paint some characters. I'll eventually have to paint some characters and, to lead armies, but playing something like Shattered Legions in a Zone Mortalis game would be epic. Anyway, I was talking about, so Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I grew up watching Mr. Rogers. He passed away, early 2000s or something, of, I think, stomach cancer. I think Bob Ross passed away of cancer as well. But, when my son was a baby, we were just messing around, and I was like, you know what? I was like, I want to see if he was crawling. He wasn't walking yet, so he was less than a year old. I was just like, let's find something to do. And I was like, I wonder if there are Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood episodes. And it was on Amazon Prime or something, they had it. So I get on Amazon, I turn on a Mr. Rogers episode. My son, who is always all over people and playing and everything, he stopped what he was doing. He crawled over to the TV stand. He pulled himself up to the TV stand and stood there and watched the entire episode, without moving. That was crazy. It's not often you see, a baby so, enraptured with something. And it's crazy that's, what... How did Mr. Rogers have this authority that kids just understand and listen? It's crazy. Yeah, it was a pretty amazing moment, honestly. This wash would look really good for a Luna Wolf as well. Okay, we put down some silver. Are we about ready to do another color? I think we're pretty close. Kids will attach to. My daughter's currently obsessed with Mary Poppins. Yeah. Oh man, kids will pick out their movie, right? And that's their movie. My movie when I was 5 in kindergarten was The Nightmare Before Christmas. But that movie also had just come out. My mom got it on VHS. I was obsessed. I did half-day kindergarten. I would come home from kindergarten. My mom would make me mac and cheese, and I would sit down and I'd watch The Nightmare Before Christmas. That's what I would do. And I did not turn out as a weird goth person either, so I think I might have failed society, or succeeded, I don't know. Think you're ever really into movies? Oh, okay. Let's get a little work. We're gonna work with some thin paints. Thinning everything down. I love Flow Improve. This is my preferred thinner. It's so nice. Stiff. It's Winsor & Newton, so you know it's good. Watch 5. Yeah, I'm just not a movie person. That's fair. I love movies. I went and saw The Odyssey last weekend. Crazy good. Crazy good movie. I was honestly pretty blown away by how much I enjoyed that film. I also saw it in IMAX, and I was literally disoriented leaving the movie theater because that movie was so loud. And I was struggling to walk down the stairs for a moment. Probably not my preferred viewing experience, but The Jungle Book? Yeah, okay, alright. Also, what's up, Jaded? How you doing? There is still time for me to turn to a weird goth person. That's true. That's true. I feel like I had a little phase where I watched The Jungle Book. I think I liked Robin Hood more The Disney cartoon Robin Hood. They played in cafeteria once and turned off because kids were threw lunch across the room in protest. Oh no. Jaded Valkyrie was a menace. Jungle Book, Sword in the Stone, Robin Hood. Yeah. Good movies. Watership Down. Alright. Isn't that super depressing? I don't think I've ever seen Watership Down. Once and Counting. Okay, YouTube series. Okay, Being the White. Alright, what a movie list. This must be as a kid show, or yeah. Alright. That's good to know. I try to show my son movies from my childhood, and he's always like, is this a 90s movie? I'm like, yeah. He's like, ugh. Because they're always like, they're like way too grown up for kids, and they're like, it's always divorced parents. There's like so many things that just like define like 90s kids movies. Watch Down's mid-70s? Okay, yeah. It's like Bambi on steroids. Alright, you know, I've never seen Bambi. At least not that I can remember, but I think I understand the reference. What Bambi on steroids would represent. So. Burrito Mussolini, welcome in. Okay, get Gray's on. We gotta get his wrist a little bit here. There's a little bit of silver I want to grab. 2K list with the Cerberus. Oh, cool. All right. Yeah, that does fit in a 2K list, doesn't it? Get your Solar Ox, buddy. Just feels nothing but tanks and gets trashed. Yeah, let us know how it goes. Hunchback. I've never seen Hunchback of Notre Dame. Or Notre Dame, or however they say it. Alright, I think before we get to reds here, because I want to put reds down. I think we want to do some golds first. Yeah, gold. Maybe it. We gotta do black bolter casing. With the black bolter casing soon as well. But let's do gold. We'll get some Yeah, we'll do classic rich gold here. Only a Paragon, you can take a 2k. Oh, Valdor? Yeah, yeah. More flow improver here. Valdor is a beast, if I understand correctly. Like, he's an absolute monster and can go toe-to-toe with Primarchs in the game. Abaddon is pretty funny in this edition. He has a, I think it's a Sons of Horus unique like gambit for challenges, which is kind of like a you choose a gambit like every round in the challenge, and it gives like different bonuses and stuff, and people have unique gambits and all this stuff. Well, Abaddon can use the Sons of Horus, so he has weapon skill 7, I think, which is very high, and most Primarchs are weapon skill 7, 8, or 9. Lorgar is only weapon skill 6. And what's funny about that is the unique Sons of Horus Gambit allows you to what does it do? You can basically just like refuse to fight the person because they're beneath you, is what you do. Like if your weapon skill is higher than theirs. So Abaddon can literally look at Lorgar and just say no thanks. Like, this is a waste of my time. Which, I love that for Lorgar, honestly. I think that's really funny. Whacked by Automod. If you explain the Hunchback? Really? Okay, okay. I'm, like, vaguely familiar with the story, but I don't know. I don't know enough. Gold details, we get black, then we get red. You can list exact same. You change the Kratos for a Cerberus. Okay. Nice. Yeah, that's a fun way to try stuff. Back in my more competitive tabletop gaming days, that was how I told people to test things. Was you play the same list and you make tiny alterations. Yeah, as you get familiar with the list, right? You make tiny alterations and you can analyze, you know, what works and what doesn't, and how the new thing fit or maybe didn't fit. Yeah, that's what you do. You read Master of Mankind. Okay. Her stats are always based on his fan 3 instead of the End of the Heresy. Doesn't he have an Ascended version? Or he did in 2nd edition, right? He had an Ascended version. He doesn't in 3rd, though, does he? If he doesn't have one in 3rd, I imagine he'll get one eventually. Oh, he does. Okay. I'll make strategic lists. I did not with Heresy, but I would when I was really competitive in Star Wars Armada. Went to Worlds 1 year. Armada. 11th overall, felt pretty good about that. It was crazy though, like I was at the top table after 2 rounds, and the guy who I played at the top table ended up getting, I think, 3rd overall or something, but he is very good. But our game came down to a lucky crit, basically. Lucky crit pool. That's like a 2 in 52 chance, like a 1 in 26 chance to pull. It hurt me, allowed him to blow up my ship. Competitive. Yeah, TBD set the meta. I did set the meta, that's right. Not to brag or anything, but... Stick 100 orcs on the enemy? Yeah. Prince me the Reaver Titan. I'm gonna make it PS5 because I can afford a 3K. Yeah. Yeah, you definitely want to put points into upgrading the big stuff, right? Or, alternatively, just give it a bunch of blast weapons, and then you don't really have to worry about it hitting so much. Or at least doesn't hurt as much. Apocalypse Launcher, nice. Yeah, Reavers are my favorite Titans. What do you guys think about the possibility of a plastic Warhound Titan finally happening? I think my big question, I definitely think it's a matter of when, not if. And I think Valrak is right that it's coming, probably by the end of the year, but that it's a mini that's coming. But I am curious if it'll be Horus Heresy only, or if they will find a way to put it into 40k. It sounds like a stupid thing to not put that into 40k, because you think like everybody's going to want to buy those. Like was like $300, like everybody's gonna, not everybody, but so many people, it's gonna be sold out for so long. It's gonna be a huge deal. And I think that they would market it for 40k. Alright, Black Bolter casing. We're not doing other parts black, are we? No. Okay, the next thing we do is the red, and we're gonna start with red oxide. Not too dark, not too bright. Well, they already have 40k Legends rules, but I think they might put them in a codex. Like, would they put them in the Knight Codex or something, or Mechanicum, or yeah. If they make it for Heresy, I think they would just be missing a big opportunity. And melt is blast 5, melt to 48. Yeah, that's pretty good. Gallon Blaster and the Titan Melter. That's cool. That's a cool choice. Finally making this dude a White Scar here. Yeah, Blast 10 is cool. I have the Apocalypse Blast, the Apocalypse templates. They're crazy. I have only ever used the Hellstorm template, though, for the Malkador. Yeah, the Hellstorm is the giant flame template. Yeah. It's a teardrop, but the end of it is a 5-inch blast template. The large end of it. And to balance Titans for competitive 40k. Yeah. I mean, Knights exist. Yeah, it's true. How salty do you think people would be if they released a Warhound Titan in plastic and they marketed only Horus Heresy? I mean, the internet as a whole just gets mad about everything anyway, for no reason. Titan 40k because they suck. Yeah, they only have void shields. Yeah, big stuff plays kind of lame in 40k. The 3rd edition Heresy Titan rules are super cool. They really went all out making Titans interesting, which was great. Stompy shooty robot, no, yeah. You just play big ones. Chaos. Yeah, I would honestly recommend to anybody who wants to buy a Titan to not even bother with 40k. The 30k Titan rules are crazy. They have like separate body parts that you have to destroy and target. And they affect the Titan in different ways when they go down and everything. Like it's really interesting. Don't want to mess up the white here. Solid 4 came out on PC. Oh, cool. Yeah, guess my book was $200. Yeah. Is what it is. W charges what people are willing to pay. Maybe not all people. Maybe not happily. But people are still paying it. Okay. Red, there are 2 more places I'm putting red paint. this guy interesting with light gray. I'm gonna build up to white. I haven't highlighted the white yet. I just put a little wash over it. Yeah, the trick to painting white is to not paint white. Just like the trick to painting black is to not use black. You end up boxing yourself in. You don't have any room for highlights or shadows or anything. Yeah, so I used a coat of well, I primed the Mini in Vallejo Gray, which is essentially a like bright neutral gray from Pearl Acryl. I then made a wash. It was 10 parts Flow Improver, 1 part Rattling Grime, and put it throughout the various recessed area. They didn't like coat the whole Mini, but yeah, so I primed it bright neutral gray, the wash, the Rattling Grime wash, and then I'm going to build it up. I'm going to use my bright neutral gray to kind of get some of these spots close to it and pull my lines back, the shadow lines, and then yeah, and then we'll start building up to white. And pure white will be the edge highlight on this Mini. Spartans count as super heavies? No. Spartans aren't super heavies. They're heavy transports. Maybe I'll think of my ultra competitive list. 120 boys, 110 beast. That sounds awesome, honestly. That sounds really cool. Some kind of wash. Maybe I'll use the same wash over this red. Oh god, microset in my mouth? Ooh. That's the chemical one, right? That's not the vinegar? I don't know. I don't know microset and Microsol. I use MarkFit. Just one product. But that's wild. Eating the microset. Okay, more freehanding details. We're gonna see if we can do this. No, that I dislike it. Yeah. Imagine how long the movement phase would last. Yeah, get movement trays. It won't be too bad. Let's set a brush here. That's a weird angle. All right. Get a second coat over this red. So it kind of dries up. All right, what a base color. Hey, we'll build a shelf. All right, enjoy. Good luck. Follow the instructions. You know, do the things you need to do. Danger myself if I ever think anything more complicated. Oh no. I'll say that. Report back when you're finished, so we know you're still with us. All right. Post a picture of your finished shelf in Discord or something. Okay. Small coat on the face visor here. All right, I like the foot. The red foot is really cool. Very white scarsy. Okay, now what I need to do, especially with that red's drying, I need to grab a wash and let me actually see. Will this wash do the trick? Or actually, let's do this. We're gonna grab some of this rattling grime. A little bit. We'll take some of this mix we already had. We'll add that into the rattling grime, the pure rattling grime. Yeah, so we got much better wash here. It just works as a better like black wash. Crucial Blue has it right. Okay. We're just making a little wash. Anybody else here just super hyped for Total War? War 40k. I mean, Total War Warhammer in general, but. I was telling you guys yesterday, I am so excited for that. I'm like, you know, my mind is like I'm about to be a full-time Total War streamer. Like that's what I'm gonna do. But I did actually make a separate YouTube channel to make game content specifically for Total War. It's not there's nothing there yet, so there's no point in advertising it. But I'll tell you guys when we got something. And if someone here can guess and send me the link to my Total War focused gaming channel, I'll give you a prize. I don't know what that prize is, but just curious if anyone can find it. I need more of this. Thin Down Rattling Grime is a really nice wash. Really nice. Contrast paints in general work really well as washes when you thin them down. Because they're so pigment dense, you can thin them a lot and they still get that strong, like, settling of pigment. But it ends up looking really nice. Okay, got some of that wash going. What do we go for next? Do we just start back on the white? I think we might just start back on the white here. Some more flow improver with that. Bright neutral gray. First, we'll take our brush. We'll take this bright neutral gray, which was our base color here. We're just going to essentially push this wash a little further back into the recesses.
All computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
This is the same white recipe I use on my Thousand Suns. The wash is a little different. I use a diluted black wash, but I may have to try out stuff. It's a little easier to do this crazy Rattling Grime wash just because I'm doing it on a one-off mini and not on like a whole army. When I paint armies, I really try to not mix paints. Thousand Suns for blue. Yeah, misinformed. You survived. Oh, well, okay. I'm glad you're still around, Jaded. Thousand Suns and the Heresy wore red armor with white and bronze or gold accents. Belt piece. Herschel Blue, what's going on? Let's see, a car would be pain. Yeah, huh. What's happening, Blue? How you doing? Gonna wait on these areas near Wash, so we'll get the shoulder pads first.
First of all, let me take just a moment to thank you.
Hey,
for
Dragonite, welcome in.
home.
How you doing? Yes, without the knight, though, you probably made the right choice, though. You got enough on your plate to paint anyway. It wasn't like on sale or anything, was it? Or was it? How are you doing, Dragonite? Thank you for the follow. What are you up to? Okay, store's usual discount. Yeah, you can always get it later. That kind of thing is a good thing to, like, sleep on anyway, right? Yeah, I'm doing really well. I'm having fun painting this this white scar. I think I've ever painted a white scar before, but we're doing something called Project Legion, and as of now, every individual legion is represented. Thanks to our last 3 sponsors. So I just need to work through the legions and paint everybody now, but it's exciting. There are other ways to sponsor Project Legion if you're like desperate to throw money at me and have your name on some minis, but I'm excited. I really like this white scar. This has been a lot of fun to paint. And this is the 4th Legion that we have painted, or started at least. Gotta add some more paint on the palette, guys. White scars on your list of favorite Loyalist chapters. Oh, very cool, very cool. What are your favorites? What kind of armies you collect? What we got going on? Tell me your life story. Let's finish up this helmet here. We're just doing our first kind of we're reestablishing our base color. I don't think I'd call this a highlight yet, but it's the same age as Dolly and Tim Curry. Yeah. My last living grandparent passed away last month, which is a weird feeling. Yeah, go spend some time with your grandma. That woman was in her 90s. She smoked like a chimney. She had cancer like 4 times. Worked a physical job in a warehouse for most of her life. She retired in her mid-70s. Favorite chapter: Ultramarines, Blood Angels, Raven Guard, Blood Ravens. Oh, that's a good list. That is a good list, Dragon Knight. My Primaris army is Ultramarines, but I haven't played 40k in a bit, so I'm much more into Horus Heresy, and Thousand Sons are hands down my favorite Legion in Heresy. But we're doing this whole thing, this Project Legion thing, as kind of a I don't know, you call it an experiment, an opportunity, like a learning thing to paint all the different legions. So I got a tactical marine for each legion I'm painting, sponsored by you guys. So this White Scar is sponsored and represented by Misfit 23. The arms now, and we should his chest. Yeah, arms and chest. Skill builder. Yeah, there we go. You play orcs. Yep. Loyalist army in between salamanders. Salamanders are really cool. Yep. Real fists to be the rivals. Yeah. Both really cool. You just collect. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Painted. Yeah, others are not assembled. Okay. Do you have anything painted? Have you started trying to paint yet or anything, or are you just... Are you new to the hobby? What you got? It's your excuse. I'm just kidding. It's alright. Everybody's in a different stage. Can't win salamanders on 2s. It has to be 3s. Yeah, that's their Legion rule. Yeah. Burrito. Yep. Whisper really funny. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. That's for 30k. Yeah, each legion has it's called a rite of war. It's like a specific rule. A couple have multiple rites of war, and you choose one of them. Right now, it's just World Eaters and Emperor's Children have kind of their standard rite of war, and they have a like full-on traitor, like Legion Hereticus, Ball to Chaos rite of war. Yeah. Say, I'm not new. You've been in war. Oh, okay. New paints. Oh, gotcha. Alright, so you're kind of jumping back in with painting and everything. That's cool though, man. Welcome back. I am pushing like 25 years in this hobby. But it's been a little off and on for me through the years. Post a salamanders list, okay. Shall take a look a bit later if that's okay. Chest piece is our final bit for this color. Pushing 2 months into the hobby, yeah. Second year doing tabletop stuff. Nice. Always exciting having new people jumping in. Okay, that white turned out very clean. I need to get around this spot. I think this is my last bit here. Battletech is still the best tabletop because it's so cheap. Yeah. I am kind of interested in Gundam Assemble. I'm not a big Gundam fan, but that game, the core set for that game is like $35. It comes with 6. It's like a 2-player starter for $35 basically. And both players can full size force, which is just three suits or whatever. But yeah, that looked interesting. I have 40k minis collections from mini sets I bought, and the rest of the collections you bought from Bring and Buy sales. Yeah, okay. Hey, well, whatever gets you the minis, right? That's what it takes. That's cool though. Nothing wrong with buying used minis. We're gonna white a little more. Go mix our colors, thin it out a bit. ZeniMax, I don't know what any of that stuff is. I have no idea about anything with Battletech, but my scar's looking sharp. Thank you. All right, we have basically a 50-50 white and bright neutral gray. Yeah, I see Battletech being sold at like bookstores and stuff. So now when I start putting on this 50-50, you guys see this? Now you can see how dark that gray is. The gray just instantly looks way too dark and off, which is pretty funny. So we want thin coats. We don't want thick or too many coats. What's print cam chugging along? It is painting. Oh, it's finished. Oh, snap. It finished some Raven Guard shoulder pads, actually. Some Mark III shoulder pads. One of our Project Legion projects, someone sponsored a squad of breachers for Raven Guard, some Mark III breachers, because it's so out of character for what you think of with Raven Guard. So that was Ghost Hawks sponsored that. So I have some Raven Guard Mark III shoulders that I printed. I figure if someone's going to sponsor a squad, an entire squad, that's a good opportunity to like get some cool things and really make it interesting for those squads. Need a resin printer, but I need to move out of my mother's. Yeah, don't print in the same room that you're in. Like, definitely don't do that. Don't mess around with should have been Blood Ravens. Yeah, maybe one of these days I'll paint some Blood Ravens. Surprise. That's certainly a surprise. Yeah, Jaded understands. The thing about Heresy stuff, or probably just a lot of Space Marines in general, is like all the legions fought with all the equipment. It's more based on what was available, and they might have preferred a style of warfare, but it doesn't mean they like declined using assets. And Corax is smart. He'll use the tools he's given. So breachers are useful in their context. He would totally use breachers. It's not like breachers have to be loud or something, you know. White Scar Mini is looking great. Thank you, Dragonite. Yeah, I have never painted a White Scar before, so this has been really fun. So far, the most fun mini I have painted has honestly been the Iron Warrior. But this guy is really cool. I'm enjoying this. It's definitely not as easy as the Iron Warrior. The Iron Warrior is turbo easy until you get to the hazard stripes, and then it becomes like a challenge. But it's like 1 point. And this mini has a lot more involved color scheme. Based on no bias. Yeah, whatsoever. Yep. Stealthily cutting through a meter of reinforced adamantite. Yep. I gave one of the breachers a las cutter and the other one the graviton gun. So they got the full suite of options. I thought about giving the sergeant like some cool melee weapon, but I kept him with the bolter. It seemed appropriate. Especially if I'm going to actually play with the squad. You know, I want him to be like, to be cool but useful. But also, like, you know, dude's got a big shield. If somebody ends up sponsoring a breacher veteran squad, then I can go crazy with the weapons. But we're not there yet. We're not there yet. You never take melee. Yeah. It used to be worth it in like 2nd edition to put melee weapons on sergeants. It's just not anymore. Ran out of hot pockets. I haven't had a hot pocket in like 25 years. Scared to think of what they make hot pockets with nowadays. Sunday. We'll be streaming Sunday next, Sunday night. Sunday we'll be on to the next Legion. Does anybody know who the 6th Legion is? It's a momentous occasion, I have to say. It is not Imperial Fists. Imperial Fists are the 7th. It is the Space Puppies. Yep. It's the dogs of the Emperor. Space Wolves. Yeah, yep. So we will have Space Wolf Sunday on stream. I will not smile while I paint them. Down the list of all the chapters I knew. Just slowly go down, yeah. Okay, backpack and legs. Lower torso. Just like 6. Okay. When will I paint the 11th Legion? As far as I know, never. We don't commit that kind of heresy here. What's wrong with the 11th Legion? We don't talk about him. That's what's wrong with him. I think, there's the story with the 2nd and 11th Legions. And if you read the Heresy books, it's very hush-hush. Like, none of the Primarchs will even, like, mention them. It's like Voldemort. But I think that their offenses, whatever they were less than what Horus did. I mean, obviously, right? But the reason they're not talked about and they were removed from history is because the Imperium was able to do that. When it was just one legion at a time or whatever, and they were horrible, like, they could expunge their records and make all kinds of rules about it. When it's half the legion actively overthrowing the Imperium, you can't just say, like, oh, no, they don't exist. Don't talk about them, Can't quite do that. Yeah, it doesn't exist. Yep. They just couldn't come up with another. No, they did that a long time ago just because it leaves open room for people to make their own. That's what it's about. Games Workshop could always come up with another faction, and that would never be a problem with them. But it was done as like an open end for people to not be locked in with the lore as written. And they could say, well, my dudes are different. They're part of the 2nd Legion or the 11th Legion or whatever. That's why. Everybody knows there's only 9 legions. Yeah. What's going on, man? First time chat and everything. Zesiches? How do you pronounce that? It's a crazy name. Warrior Marines were descendants of the 11th Legion. Exactly, yeah, and their records were expunged for good reason. Yeah. Rest in peace, Peter. Legendary voice actor. Don't you dare. Don't you dare, Zess. I will fight. I will absolutely throw hands if you're going to utter that name in this context. Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of old famous people. I know John Williams is 100 years old, right? 100 years old. Mel Brooks is 100, yeah. I don't know if anyone's ever accused Mel Brooks of being a good person. I don't know. I don't think he's a bad person. I have no idea, but like, we don't know Mel Brooks for like being a shining beacon of humanity, like Dolly Parton or yeah, I guess some other people. Not that Sir Ian McKellen or Peter Cullen are necessarily spectacular people. I don't know their personal life, but Mel made people laugh. That's true. That's true. That's probably what he'll be remembered for, right? Whenever the time comes. I'm not saying he's dead, guys. I think I will cry ugly tears whenever the day comes that Ian McKellen passes away. Really crazy, like, random thing. I think it was Monday. I was just randomly, at home and, like chilling with my son and stuff. I had a song stuck in my head on Monday. And that song I've never had stuck in my head before. I didn't recently hear it. It was just in my head. And the song was 9 to 5. It literally, like, I don't think I've never looked for that song, like searched out to listen to it. I can't think of the last time I actually heard the song, but I just kept like whistling 9 to 5 to myself and everything, just like through the whole afternoon and evening. I was like, man, this song's in my head. Yeah, and then Tuesday, comes out that Dolly Parton passed away. That was pretty wild. Premonition. Yep. She psychically sent a message to everybody. He said, my son, we had Imagination Library books for my son, pretty much from when he was born until he was 5 years old, when he aged out of it. And I will say, it's completely free, which is amazing. I don't think he got higher quality books from anyone, like at any point in his childhood, than the books that he would get sent from Imagination Library. They were such good and like thoughtful books, and they weren't just like goofy silly books. Like, they were books that had like serious lessons and meaning to them. And from all kinds of different authors about all kinds of different subjects, and it was really cool. I always respected, that organization for sending those, like the books that they did. A bunch of people sing Dolly Parton songs during karaoke last week. Oh, wild, yeah. Yeah, David Attenborough passing away is gonna be crazy. Yeah. I teared up when Bernard Shaw passed away. That was 2 years ago, I think. That was 2024. It was a Theoden for people who don't know who Bernard Shaw is. Oh, don't mess up. What's up? Get me ready for some edge highlights here. Yeah. Tim Curry was great. He seemed like he was not doing well for a long time, though. Like, he had a stroke, right? And he was in rough shape for a long time. Okay, that coat is done. Look at that, clean white. We're gonna clean it up even more by getting a small brush and some pure white. Bold titanium white. And that stuff. Angles on the foot are looking sharp. Yeah, I'm excited about that. I am very pleased with this white scar right now. This would be a difficult color scheme to paint. You know, like that people they're not lying when they, you know, talk about how difficult white scars are to paint as an army. Painting one mini is a much different prospect. But something I love about white scars is just how well they kind of fit, but like how close they are with Thousand Suns. They're almost like best bros. Yeah, white paint is a pain. Yeah, it's just lots of layers. There's no easy shortcuts to doing a good white paint. Okay, we're taking pure bold titanium white. That's what we're doing here. And we're gonna start. I don't want to do his helmet first. We'll start with this arm. We're gonna get some edge highlights here. Again, once I start putting on this white paint, you guys will see how dark the 50-50 looks. Even though it looked like pure white just a minute ago. I do have to ask the question, what kind of terrain does the homeworld of the white scars have? Yeah, bold titanium white is one of the goats of paint. If you just uttered heresy, what heresy is that? Thousand Suns and White Scars being best buds? Yeah, they are. It's man, it's one of my favorite heresy stories is from one of the newer journals that came out for third edition, and it's talking about the design of the Saturnine Terminator armor. And one of the interesting things about the Saturnine stuff, the Terminator armor, is you need some like latent psychic ability to use it. And so when Vulcan had the design and was like rebuilding it and trying to like re-up the program and stuff, he actually called on Magnus and the Khan to help him. And what they did was they made a research facility to test and design this armor and the weapons and everything that goes with it. But it was like hidden. Probably because they were doing like psychic stuff to test it, you know, and even Vulcan was like, it's probably not, you know, we're going to keep this off the radar. So it was a group of Thousand Suns and a group of White Scars in this research lab. Well, eventually what happened was, yeah, it's the armor with the giant pauldrons. Yeah, the very polarizing stuff. It's not my favorite, but this story makes me like it. What happened when the heresy started, there were big warp storms and stuff. And warp storms actually cut off that system from everything else. So they went years without hearing anything from anybody, and they're like, that's fine. We'll just continue our work. You know, we'll just keep doing what we're supposed to do. The storm will clear eventually, and you know, we'll be able to, you know, show our work to everybody and everything. So after a couple years, what happened was there's a ship that came out of the warp, and it was a White Scar ship, like a strike cruiser or whatever. And you know, they answer and they're all friendly and stuff, and they're chatting with them. And this was a captain that had just come from Prospero, because the White Scars went to Prospero after everything went down to check on stuff. They ended up like fighting Mortarion and other Thousand Suns and stuff. Was the whole thing. Well, when the White Scar captain that arrives sees the Thousand Sons, like librarian or tech marine or numerologist, whatever he is, he immediately orders the White Scar's librarian that was stationed on the station to kill him. He's like, they're traitors, they can't be trusted. And the White Scars is like, what? He's like, dude, we've been here for years. What are you talking about? He can't be trusted. Like, I know this dude. Well, the White Scar, the captain that arrived, went ballistic, basically, and was about to kill the Thousand Sons until the White Scar librarian killed him. So he killed his own brother to save the Thousand Son. Well, then the White Scars and the cruiser went crazy and attacked the station. So it was a story of Thousand Sons and White Scars fighting together against White Scars. And essentially what happened was they were fighting in these narrow hallways. And the station group had Saturnine armor. And they would just walk through the hallways killing everything. And when one of them would get damaged, there'd be a Thousand Son behind them just healing them. Like physically repairing their armor and their body. Not physically, but psychically repairing their armor and their body. While they were just mowing down the White Scars. And they eventually killed the group. And kind of went their separate ways at that point to kind of figure out what happened. So the Thousand Son looked for Magnus and the rest of his legion. And the White Scar went to look for the Khan to see what was going on. Yeah, it was great teamwork, yeah. That was one story that got me really pumped to mess with the Saturnine stuff, because I didn't really care for Saturnine before that, but GW knows what's up. They know how to get to me. Helmet, we got the arms, we got the shoulders. Let's keep going, and then I think I'm going to be done for the day after I finish up this color, because it's getting about quitting time and I have to go to the post office. So but yeah, also at the Nikea, where the Emperor eventually, banned Psykers and stuff, except for Space Wolves. He let them have them because they said they're not Spikers. They're Psykers. They're just an ancient religion. And he was like, also, that's cool. You guys can have your ancient religion, because I'll let you guys break the rules, because GW just loves Space Wolves. Anyway, White Scars were one of the legions to actually defend Magnus and the Thousand Sons. Vast grasslands are mentioned, but also Shigor's fertile world containing lush greenery, soaring mountains as your... Okay, so it's the Earth. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Thank you, Jaded. I appreciate it. Gotta make sure these guys get based correctly. We're basing them similar to their homeworld. Almost done with this color. Yeah, if you're feeling real spicy and you want to sponsor an entire squad, you can do that. And I will paint the squad whatever legion you choose. It'll be yours, and hopefully it'll see the game table. One day I'll try to make it happen. A couple Primarchs didn't care about Psychers, but don't seem to have liked Magnus. Magnus was quite polarizing overall. I know, like, he got along really well with Lorgar, Sanguinius. Everybody got along with Sanguinius, though. They were really close. Perturabo, they were really close because Perturabo felt Magnus was the only other smart person in the room. And vice versa. Yeah, Khan, which was interesting for Jagadai Khan because nobody really liked him or everybody forgot about him. And it's funny, Magnus was actually really friendly toward Leman Russ. He really liked Leman Russ. And I think it's because he saw like Leman Russ for who he was. You know, with his fake accent and like not really a weird savage like all the other Space Holes are, or like he pretends to be. So I think he saw him as someone who could, you know, have a good conversation and all that stuff, and then Russ just had to be the dumbest Primarch and ruin all that. You just support centering Magnus. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah. It's also weird coming from Corax. I wouldn't take Corax as someone to do that. Sort of guessed he was more Psyker friendly. Okay, and the last thing I need to do with this white... Okay, a couple things here. First of all, let's put a little bit of color here. Kind of outline this. Yeah, it gets that color a little better, but then I think... frame this red a little more. All right, that is some solid progress, and we will get some more progress on this in the near future. But man, I'm really happy with that. That's such a cool looking mini. That's so cool. Lion 2. 30k Lion not liking. Somebody was asking about oxygen's necessary. Yeah, he is the biggest jerk. The Lion is by far the biggest jerk. Ugh. Alright. So, you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you for all the follows. Thank you for the donations. Oh, sorry, Burrito Mussolini. I just saw your word ban. I have this thing, like I have sound alerts for things, so I see them, and then I can't see it on my chat, just because I have Restream chat up, not like Twitch specific. My bad. It's Primark, but man, yeah, yep. But you guys have a great day, great weekend. I will be on Sunday night, and it's gonna be a Space Wolf Sunday. So I hope you guys are okay with Space Wolf Sunday, because it's what we're doing. But have a wonderful weekend regardless. And yeah, we'll see you guys then. Thank you guys for everything. I appreciate it. And I will see you guys Sunday night. Jaded, see ya. Thank you for hanging out. Zessus Cheese, thank you. Being the White, Burrito Mussolini, My Draw, I know you're in here. See you guys. Have a great day. Bye, everybody.